I'm Ann Beheler. I was the PI for the CTC grant for 11 years and the Regional Center for CTC before that. And some of you have been coming here a very, very long time. I'm delighted that we are passing the torch to the new National Center that we introduced last year. More about that in just a little bit. I am consulting with them. I am helping them in getting going, and the thing that's really cool about what they're doing is they're using the processes that worked for us. They keep wanting to know the ones that don't work, and I'm like, no, you don't get to know that. Things were not all perfect, but a lot of things were really good, and Working Connections was one of them. So I'm going to start with my normal on Monday. I want to know who's been here 20 or more years. Stand up. Stand up. Yay. Who's been here 15 or more years? Yay. Okay. 10 or more? There you go. Lots of people. How about 5 or more? Okay. And how about, I don't know, who's new? Who is the first time? Stand up. I want to make sure that everybody looks at you and seeks you out and that you become, no, you're not a target. You actually need to develop community with this group. This group is incredibly tight. Very, very good. The fellow in the red shirt back there has been coming for more than 20 years. He even convinced me to move to California once. That's another story. Anyway, I'm still involved. I'm just not leading it. I'm going to introduce you to the people that are in just a bit. So without further ado, let's go forward a bit. Working together to prepare the IT professionals of tomorrow. I like their tagline. Okay, it's building on legacy from the CTC. I'm sure not too many of you know about National Science Foundation National Centers, because I only know about 4 or 5 of us in the room that have worked on one. However, I will tell you that very often a new national center starts from scratch. If you start from scratch, you have to build everything you're going to do by yourself, pretty much. I mean, you can call and get a little help, but you don't get a whole lot of help. And what happened is that the NIDIC group was very interested in assistance, in some transition, in figuring out what was good and continuing it, instead of starting from scratch. And they can tell you whether they think that worked or not. They tell me it did. The 3 things that we're talking about is effectively engaging with business nationally through the BILT model. I will cover a couple of slides and then I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie and Larry. And then I'll come back and tell you a little more about how we're doing BILT in the NIDIC grant. We also offer cutting-edge professional development. You're at one of those events. This is number 22. Started out with 60 people coming. We're up to approximately 100 this week. And how many next week? 112. It's become the standard training for anybody in IT in the nation. So we're delighted that NIDIC is going to continue it. And then creating and supporting a community of practice. How many of you were in the CCN, the network? CCN network. Well, you got a lot out of that if you were involved in it very much, because if you had any questions, you could ask anybody in the network to help you. I'm doing a new program in underwater basket weaving. Not usually that. Something like AI or cybersecurity or data analytics or something like that. Who's got a program and who can help me? And it was a great mesh network where people both helped and got help. And actually that's being continued too, but it's going to be called the IT Innovation Network, and they're about to launch it. They'll tell you more. As we neared our sunset, I probably should have put this one first. I actually actively looked for colleges across the nation that I thought could carry on the banner. There were several colleges that could have, but no one came up to the level that Columbus State has, in the fact that they have run many, many, many project grants for the National Science Foundation. Do you all know the number? 15 or 20. It's huge. Not all IT, but a lot of them were in IT. Anyway, the fact that they already had the experience gave them the track record with NSF, and we started working really about 3 years ago, preparing them to submit a proposal and get funded to take over the work. Now, the thing on the bottom there, what happens when people put things in caps? It's shouting. I want everybody in this room to join the network. The cost is really high, $0. So you have no reason not to join that network. And there are an awful lot of good things that you're going to get from it. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Larry McWhirter, who is the PI, the principal investigator for the New NIDIC grant, and Stephanie Schuler, who is, as I told Larry, she's performing more or less the role that Mark has performed, working with me on the CTC. So without further ado, here you go. Do you want this or the? I'm coming back.
Okay. Just very briefly, I'm a former Air Force guy for about 30 years. I was an intel officer there. And then I worked with Ohio Homeland Security for about 3.5 years. And then got the chance to do a cybersecurity degree, actually step in and help put that degree together for Columbus State. So I'm a textbook example of the kind of help that you need. At least I know what kind of help you need to do those sorts of things. And being a faculty member that's trying to climb up that particular hill. And this group, NIDIC, is all about providing the kinds of things that individuals who are in similar situations, along with those who've been there for years and years and they're starting something new, just to keep up with where we are as a nation and what we're facing in terms of actually developing our students to be able to step right into industry and to do the jobs that are critical now. And you all know the challenges that we have. I want to start with the IT Innovation Network, because everything is developed based on our interactions with one another. In other words, this morning when I went into a couple of classrooms as you were just beginning, I was listening to some of the individuals get to explain who they were and where they were from. Incredible amount of talent. Incredible amount of capability and wisdom that needs to be passed on to others. And the only thing that we can do to help that is to actually work together. So we really do, and I'll foot stomp the same thing that Ann did, IT Innovation Network. If you're not a member, your college is not a member, you need to become one. And then begin passing on things to others, and they will do the same thing for you. The Innovation Clearinghouse, white papers, courseware, coursework, all of those are things that individuals need to be able to build programs. Okay, of course, you need a lot more than that. You need the support of your leaders. You need the support of your college. And there are some of you out there that persevere even when you don't have that support. So it's critical that we have these kinds of things available. And on the bottom shelf, you know, the cookies on the bottom shelf kind of a thing, so that anybody can take off and run with it. And the reason why you're here today, professional development, one of my new relationships because of the grant, and he's on the grant as well, is Rajiv. He's right over here. He's been here for over 20 years. So he's a guy that you want to talk to and listen closely to what he has to say. In terms of professional development, we have many others here that are teaching as well, sharing what they know. And then finally, the business industry leadership teams, which Ann developed, and she is shepherding it along the way. and you need to talk with her as well. We're going to do a sneak peek. One more, maybe. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is the right one. What I want to say is we have an opportunity right now to step up to the plate and start swinging, if you haven't already been swinging, and actually step into this new capability that we have with AI, with quantum, with everything that's affecting. And NIDIC is one place where we can come together and actually make that happen. So go ahead. And I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie because she's worked really hard on the web that we're about to release. And she knows a lot of the details on the back end because she's been in every meeting with the team that's developing it.
Thank you, Larry. I'm Stephanie Schuler with Columbus State Community College, and I am the new Assistant Director for NIDIC. I've been working with NSF ATE grants in the project management space for the last almost 5 years. So really excited for this opportunity. The next few slides I'm going to share with you have not been shared outside of our small NIDIC leadership team. So this is really exciting. If you go to NIDIC.org right now, what you're going to see is a temporary landing page. Just has some of the basic information about who we are. You'll see our key deliverables like you did on the slide before. But later this summer, we are going to be launching a full website. So in the next couple slides, I want to show you a little bit about what that looks like, and it really is going to kind of encapsulate some of what Larry was saying and what we're going to have to offer. This website is really going to be the hub for everything. So there's our homepage, got that menu bar across the top. As Ann said, our tagline is working together to prepare the IT professionals of tomorrow. Across the top, you'll see how to join, how to become a member, our Innovation Clearinghouse, professional development and connections with industry. This is a preview for the page for the IT Innovation Network. So how this is going to work, if your college was part of the CCN, then we've been reaching out to those points of contact to say, do you want to be a member of ITIN, and explaining that and confirming. We've had, I think, probably 80 to 90% of those schools confirm. So very likely that if your school was a part of one in the past, or if you were the contact, that you are already in. And then we're also going to have the option to create individual logins for each person who's at that institution, so that you can get to some of the information, sign up for webinars and such that are kind of behind that members only curtain to be able to interact. So you'll be able to do that here through that website. On your tables right now, there's a couple little postcards with 2 QR codes. If you're not a member, or even if you're just not, your school is a member, but you're not the point of contact, but you want to be in the know about when our site launches and how you can join, the best way to do that is to sign up for the mailing list. We also launched our LinkedIn page just a couple weeks ago, and we've been pretty active about posting what's happening there. Even have a post from this morning with Working Connections. We'll be announcing our website go live on there, so you won't miss it. So I know we've been pushing, join the ITIN, join the ITIN. How do I do that? That officially won't happen until we get everything going with the website, but unofficially you can join now by signing up on the mailing list on the QR codes on your tables. The Innovation Clearinghouse, this is a preview of what that site page will look like. We will have featured educational resources across the top. Then if you scroll down, you'll be able to filter by different program topics, different audiences, and find those materials. You'll also be able to submit resources to be shared on the site. So if you're part of a grant project and you have work that you're looking to disseminate, you'll be able to submit a resource to this clearinghouse to be utilized by the members here in the network. You can get to this whether you're a network member or not, but we're definitely looking for all of you to share what you are doing and to help build out those resources to all be working together. Professional development, we have a couple different sections here. Working connections, as Ann shared, we'll be continuing that along. We also have our community of practice. That is those members-only events that we're going to be hosting webinars kicking off this fall. And then we'll also be featuring partner and member-hosted events. So if we hear about other opportunities that are going on within our network, we'll be sharing those as well. This is just a quick preview of that community of practice page. As you see, this will be behind a login. And then we'll be featuring monthly-ish. We may have some months where we have more than one webinar event that are an hour long that feature talks on different topics and meetings. We may have some months that are kind of busy where we maybe can't feature them. So we're not saying monthly, but monthly-ish, we're looking to host different ones. We have a couple already scheduled upcoming this fall, so members will be able to register for those here. We're also looking to build out a community of practice discussion board as well. So you all, as Ann said, if you want to learn who's doing basket weaving, that's something that you can take to that community. Summer working connections, the next time you register is going to look very different. That's all going to be done through the website. And we're going to bring Ann back up here in just a second, but everything that's happening with the BILT will also be featured on that website. Our national BILT has our trends meetings and our subject area expert meetings happening, and we'll be pushing out those KSAs as they get updated. There's also going to be information on the website about how to implement BILT locally at your own colleges. So we'll have all those resources available for you as well. So that's the website. Again, coming soon, still under development, but hoping to launch that a little later this summer. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to turn it back over to Ann.
Answer my question here. Why does employer engagement matter? That's how you, yeah, that's the thing. Amazingly, when I started the BILT model, a lot of people didn't think it was necessary to have those pesky employers involved, that we knew what to do and it would be good enough. Well, that's not the case. The big emphasis nationally is on the workforce, expanding the technical workforce especially, and who better to help us and co-lead our work than the business and industry leadership team. I'm not going to go into all the history about BILT. Those of you who have been coming here have heard that several times, and if you've come to any conferences and gone to my sessions, I probably brought it up. I will say that BILT has been around now for 22 years. It was started quite different from the current way it is presented. It is much more efficient, it is electronic, it's much, much faster, and it's working very well. When employers are highly engaged, your students get jobs. That's the net. They're also more likely to hire somebody out of your program. Why would that be the case? They know what's being taught, of course. If you kind of co-own something, aren't you kind of going to favor it a little bit? I bet you are. And then employers are more likely to participate in other ways. I find that we oftentimes go to employers with our hand out. Give me. Give me a internship. Give me a contribution of money. Come be a guest speaker. Come do this, come do that. We need to give them value for the time that we're asking for them. And when we give them value, you won't have any trouble getting participation from employers. And if you're going to apply for an NSF grant, a DOL grant, a Department of Ed grant, doesn't really matter. BILT is now recognized as a very good model for high employer engagement. You can't just rename your Business Advisory Council, but if you actually do go through and implement a BILT, you will get extra points for it. I see several people in the room that have grants. I see a couple there and there that have NSF ATE grants, and I know that they had BILT as one of the pillars of their grant. All right, these are the comments. We'll make these slides available. I will say, though, that Carolyn Corbin, who is top on the list, Carolyn, would you stand? Carolyn Corbin's over there. Her quote, The global business world is transforming at warp speed in order to equip students with necessary workplace skills and respond quickly to commercial needs in this rapidly changing environment. Having a BILT working with an educational institution is no longer an option, it's required. There are several others on the list. We had national people involved with us because it was a national center. BILT is involved for 3 national centers now and is going to be adopted by another national center. And that's the one at the bottom that's listed. The model composition, you have to have subject matter experts to decide what knowledge and skills you want in your courses, or they want you to have in your courses. It's not what you want, it's what the businesses want. And when they're published for national use, it makes a big, big difference. There's also one mega BILT, the National Center. Larry and Stephanie, for example, are going to be representing all of IT, including cyber, including portions of IT that are on the, I'll call it, bleeding edge. And in that sort of thing, you definitely want to have subject matter experts involved. You do not want to guess at what you're teaching. There are the lists for the national centers that are currently involved, and then Innovate Bio is in process. It was the foundation for all of our activities in the CTC. Everything, honestly, everything was driven by our BILT. We had an annual KSA meeting, Knowledge, Skills, and Abilities meeting, with electronic vote and discussion that was posted for national use. And then 2 or 3 trends meetings. Our group had quarterly meetings, but I find that educational institutions tend to like fall, spring, summer. Only one of those meetings should even be considered to be face-to-face, and even that should be a hybrid. We can do so much virtually now, and even though I will say that I get a whole lot more out of meeting with people face-to-face, and so do they, people don't want to travel for an hour or 2 meeting. They don't want to travel an hour in and an hour back. And if you are in this area, I drove in from south of Fort Worth today, and it took 2 hours. If this had been the only thing I was doing over here today, it would have been hard to drive over 2 hours and then 2 hours back to present for 15 minutes. Can't blame it when the business people feel the same, actually. The affiliated colleges that we had in CTC, in the CCN network, localize our national knowledge, skills, and abilities list for their local use, because the needs across the country are not all exactly the same. IT Skill Standards 2020 and Beyond is another grant that is about to finish, and it will finish in August. And there's 6 different areas, and I don't know why I only have 5 here. Oh, 5 additional areas to CTC, sorry. We had over 250 businesses involved nationally, and we created the technical support, KSAs, technical project management, data analytics, data management, software development, and engineering. Now, how long do you think it had been since the last national skill standards were created? Anybody have an idea? Was it only a couple of years ago? No, 2003. So it was a long, long time ago. Now, what we have created, is this going to be useful 5 years from now? That's a trick question. Useful, yes. Is it going to really be cutting edge? No. Therefore, we are going to be continuing updating all of these through the NIDIC grant, and it's these areas and more. The specific approach that we are using is going to be for national consumption. A mega BILT will consist of all of the people on all the various SME teams and perhaps some C-suite people. And we're going to talk about trends. Our first trends meeting for NIDIC is August 27th. It is actually a virtual meeting. You can participate and you can listen to the businesses say directly what they want to say. The purpose of the discussions twice a year are to drive us forward and keep us ahead of the game, because I don't know about your college, but I know most colleges are not able to implement curriculum in a rapid fashion. Is that fairly true? Yeah, okay. So we like to have them talk about the trends so that they can implement, so that we're aware they're coming down the road and we have a little bit of advanced warning. We're also going to have BILTs that will address each of these sub-discipline areas. And I'm not going to repeat the ones that we talked about already, but we are going to be addressing AI this year and quantum computing along the way, probably not this year, probably next year. And we will look at anything else that emerges that we don't know about yet at all, which I don't know about what that might be, but who knows, it's possible. We'll be addressing emerging items as well. All the work will begin with available lists of knowledge, skills, and abilities. In many cases, on those 6 different areas, we already have that available, and I have pro forma lists available for a lot of other areas as well. Not all of them are IT. I'm actually in what I call preferment now. Preferment is retirement that's not retired, and working with lots of colleges across the nation in lots of different technical programs. We will address 2 or 3 sub-areas annually for NIDIC. I'll be leading it with help from Mark and Christina and the tech teams. We didn't talk about the tech teams for NIDIC, but there are some technical focus teams that will be involved as well. You benefit from working with NIDIC. They're not going to bug you to death, but you will get a lot of benefit from being involved with the NIDIC group. This is kind of a pictorial layout. We will convene that mega BILT twice a year. And we're showing that over here in the first 2 blocks. We said spring and summer. Over the 1-year period, we're going to be addressing 2 or 3 BILTs. The other one besides AI that is for sure at this point is data analytics, possibly software development. And you may wonder, well, how come she's not able to tell us exactly what's going to happen? Well, we have to recruit some of the employers so that we have enough employers for each sub-discipline so that what we come up with makes sense. And you can say, well, you just worked with 250 businesses. Have you tried to keep up with business people for a 2 or 3 year period? It's hard because they change jobs, they go to different places, they quit, they retire, they move, all that sort of thing. So we have to actually work on each particular sub-discipline to make sure that we truly have subject matter experts. We don't want you to be deciding curriculum based on input from 2 or 3 people. That doesn't make sense. Okay, it's a long-term sustainable approach to innovation. BILT people can lead your innovation, and the National Science Foundation in particular has funding for your innovation. You can talk to me about that if you're interested. The bigger picture is, again, to develop BILT teams across your colleges for all of your particular sub-disciplines you're supporting, and also for anything IT or cyber related on a broad umbrella level for long term. What's involved in the BILT? Some of this is a little bit duplicative, but you know what? I was a teacher for many, many years, and I learned that people don't always get it the first time I say something. Do your students? Some of you are saying, yes, I want to know your secret. Anyway, Anyway, the businesses do have to co-lead the program and prioritize the knowledge, skills, and abilities 12 to 36 months in the future and predict trends. They also need to tell us about labor market demand. What's the demand in our area now in general? Low? High. It's high. Has it always been high in IT and cyber? No. So we want to know. We don't want to be developing programs or sustaining programs that the students are not going to get hired. Faculty do in these meetings mostly participate as active listeners. They will cross-reference the results to existing curriculum, even if it's a new program you're looking at. If you're looking at AI, for example, there will be some courses in your existing curriculum that you will want to use. You will diligently try to address what the business people want, may not be able to address all of it, and if there's something you can't address, you discuss that with them. The employers, you want to figure out what their WIFM is. You all have a WIFM. It's a what's in it for me if I do something. Your what's in it for me for traveling to Dallas or to Frisco was getting the training that you wanted this week. The employers want to give back, but they want to know that they are appreciated. Faculty, I think every one of you want to deliver relevant skills. And I don't know about you, but I think faculty work really, really hard. Some of the public don't agree. Some of the public go, oh, well, you're only teaching 15 or 18 hours a week. You've got a cush job. Anybody think your job is a cush job? Not a chance. So it's important for you to know the latest, greatest, and what's going to be wanted. You want your students to be prepared to get jobs. I don't think any one of us want to work with our students and then have them try to get a job and not be able to. And we also want them to understand what they're getting into in the business world. Our business people will help in mentoring, being a guest speaker, being on a panel, et cetera. It's a win-win-win for employers, faculty, students, and programs. And here's some sample results, just a couple of proof points. How many of you are from what you'd call a small college? Okay. Small college in Neosho, Missouri, little bitty college in Neosho, Missouri, had been trying to get Freeman Health Systems to work with them for years and could not get them to come. The vice president reached out to the head of their services and said, hey, we want you to come to this meeting. Just come for one time. Immediately after the meeting, they created a contract requesting 20 apprenticeships in certified medical assisting for 5 years, a 5-year contract based on one meeting. And then Miami-Dade College, I've done a lot of work for Miami-Dade College. So far, 4 + 2 BILT teams. The 2 are in development. Cybersecurity, they now have over 1,000 students. They started from nothing, and they started from a community that many of in the community were first generation and did not think they could do cyber jobs. And many of the employers in the community did not think 2-year degreed people could do the work. Well, they've changed their mind. They have a cloud program that's going very well. There's a cloud program over at Hillsborough Community College. Wave, ask him. That's Mubarak. He's in Tampa. And then data analytics was already going at Miami-Dade College. However, we have undergirded it with a BILT. In fact, we met on Friday last week so that they are aware of what changes need to be made in the next round of curriculum. Then probably the most fun thing I've gotten to do lately was actually in 2022, a long time ago now. I ended up being hired on contract to be the AI director for Miami-Dade College, and they said, go recruit our BILT members, go find the pro forma KSAs, go work with our faculty, and we want 2 certificates, an associate degree, and a bachelor's degree. And it was great fun. I had no bumpers on me. I just got to do what I wanted to do, and it turned out very, very well. The programs were both approved. We finished designing them in 9 months, and then we turned it over to the powers that be that have to approve all of it. They started offering some of it this last fall, and they already have 600 students. Pretty cool. And then engineering and semiconductor. I had invited someone from the Semiconductor National Center to be here today. I haven't connected with him and don't know why he isn't, but they are going great guns for semiconductor. And then engineering in general. Grant year 2, we're going to hold Mega BILT. I've said this before. I'm saying it again intentionally. On August 27th, do you have the time? 1 o'clock, something like that? I didn't put that here, but we'll make sure you know. And the ITN members can attend. Anybody can attend as long as you know. And we will tentatively hold at least data analytics and artificial intelligence, possibly software dev. Have I said this before? Join ITN now. It's free. Get actively involved and attend. There's also a free training on BILT to actually implement all of the details. That is under the Pathways to Innovation grant that I'm still working with. And you'll have access to these slides. You can get to me or get to the slides and ask me about that. That particular application is a cohort model, and it's going to come out the end of this month to help colleges. Again, all of this is free. You just have to decide to do it. All right.